Fellow Kenyans and people of goodwill, people who are blessed to be alive today, and people who always have what we call the critical thinking. That if we throw a kind of word, it will be like a seed in your life, and that word will enable you to make it multiply, grow, and develop, and maybe come up with a greater aspect in his life and come up with a greater aspect of maybe a project or an activity that is going to change people's life. Or I'm thinking of the quite great number of people that attended classes in school. And today I want to discuss on the first category of classes, that is your first instance of learning, maybe from the PP class or pre-primary classes one, classes two, or what we call in nursery school in those days. And I want you to reflect back to your first teacher in class, when you went to the class, how you met the first teacher, and the interactions with with the teacher. Maybe it was not one-on-one interaction, but there was that class interaction where you were introduced to the class, you are introduced to meeting other pupils, and you are introduced to meeting a group of teachers that were to teach you, that were to start forming a foundation of knowledge in your life. And later on, they continued impacting on the foundation that they raised or they laid in your life. That foundation, which is very fundamental, it makes you react the way you do because there was that aspect of impartation that was done into you. If you had met a teacher whose intention was to make you fail in life, that foundation could not have built upon you. The foundation that makes us live, emulate, and conduct our activities as learned people or people with information is because of that foundation that was built on us and in us in the first days of our schools. It reminds us of integrity, character, discipline, ethical or ethics, and so many things that comes in our lives. We were taught when we are tender and fragile that we depended upon on what was found in our minds. And as we reciprocate in what was done or what was put in our mind, sometimes we tend to pretend that we are so learned than our teachers. And especially some of us who have the doctorate degrees. But that teacher in your first class, you owe her or him the credit. She made you the person you were, whether you went beyond primary school or you did not go beyond that, whether you dropped in high school, university, colleges, or wherever you are, at any level that you're in, you owe credit to your first educator in the academic system. Yes, we owe more credits to our first teacher, which is our parents, especially our method. But academically, we owe credit to our first academic teacher. Now, having said there and spoken of that, how many times have you ever reflected on the life of that teacher you met in your first day in school? Have you ever made a visit to him or to her? Have you ever maybe sent a present to him or to her? Have you ever said a word for him or to her? Or you just um, take it for granted that she was doing her duties or he was doing his duties? We must be grateful to them. We can always be praying for them. Some of them had been living very miserable lives. They struggled to make their ends meet and supported our foundation, which is a very strong foundation. Some of them were paid very meager salaries or income, but they gave us the best. That is why when they raised a strike for the teachers, we should rethink and reflect. If they are not there for us, what would our lives be? That's a bite for the day. From your host, Reverend Joseph Mary, Doctor. God bless you, my viewers and listeners.